Good evening, everyone. Storm Chaser and Extreme Meteorologist Cody here. I want to talk about the enhanced and moderate risk for severe weather for later on tonight. We'll be looking at Joplin, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, Dodge City, Kansas, and Hutchinson, Kansas. The main threat is severe thunderstorms that will be producing winds, scattered large hail, isolated up to 2 inches, and a few tornadoes are expected this afternoon and evening across parts of the central southern plains. The greatest threat for destructive gusts of up to 70 to 100 miles per hour is forecasted across portions of southern Kansas and northern Oklahoma. Now, if we take a look at the tornado risk, we have a 5 and 2% hash. 5% is going to be in southeastern Kansas, and 2% hash is going to be around Joplin, southwestern Missouri. Now, looking at tomorrow's forecast, Missouri is going to be at an enhanced risk. This is going to be southeastern Missouri, around the St. Louis metropolitan area. Looking at tornado risk, we see a 5% hatch, which is pretty high. There's going to be strong, severe storms that are going to be expected on Wednesday from parts of southern Missouri northeastward into southern lower Michigan. Damaging winds, isolated hail, and tornadoes will be possible. More isolated severe storms will develop across the southern plains. The wind threat is going to be high as well. There's going to be real high wind shear. Southeastern Missouri, around St. Louis once again, there's going to be a 30% chance of high winds. So if you have any furniture outside that could blow away into yards, I would recommend bringing those indoors right now. Let's go take a look at pivotal weather and try to look at the readings for tomorrow's storms. Storms tonight are going to be impacting Missouri around the time that everybody's asleep. Joplin is going to be the main concern because you got these supercells that are going to be crossing Oklahoma into the southwestern parts of Missouri. You got these two storms that are going to be coming together across the Kansas and Oklahoma border. There's going to be a lot of wind shear. Tornadoes will be a threat. If any do end up starting, I would say they would be around the EF1, EF2 range. We'll go ahead and look at the models right now. Just waiting for my screen to load. I apologize. So these are the cells that I'm going to be looking at right around there. Doesn't look too much like anything yet, but as you see, early tomorrow morning, you got these cells right here. They're going to start forming into northwestern parts of Missouri, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be a squall line of storms, and we might possibly see a deer echo. These deer echoes can cause quick spin-ups of tornadoes. Sometimes they are unwarned. So we'll take a look at the, where is it? We'll take a look at the storm supercell composite. So yeah, as you could see, the supercells are going to be forming around southwest Missouri. These storms are going to end up moving northeastern into St. Louis. So I would say around Pacific Missouri, maybe Lebanon. You could see a possibility of supercell storms. There's a lot of humidity and precipitation within the air right now, so these are going to feel these storms. Looking at the reading around Springfield and Joplin, right here the atmosphere is at 77 degrees Fahrenheit. The cap is at 15 kilometers. So we're seeing a cap of 3,300 feet. That's pretty high. So looking around here, you could tell that there's a lot of instability within these cells. So, like I was saying, there's a good chance that there's a probability of an EF2, maybe EF1 tornado, maybe EF3. So I would make sure that your cell phones are off silent tonight, because these storms will be hitting in the early morning hours. If anybody has any questions about the storms tonight, feel free to message me or comment on my Facebook page. I will be keeping track of these storms. So as you can see, they're starting right now in Kansas. I'm worried about these cells right here. Here's Joplin right here. So as you could see right here, the purple, you could tell there's a lot of hail within this storm. There's a lot of precipitation. Like I said, humidity is high right now. So a lot of moisture, high wind shear. This is a good thing to feel these supercell storms. So like right here, you could see a little curve right here, possibly some rotation within these cells. And then you got this little lone cell right here. That's forming around Woodward, Oklahoma. This is going to have a lot of feel. You're going to have the backdraft of these storms that are going to be feeling this cell right here. So I'm concerned about Joplin, maybe some parts of Arkansas. And then let's open up radar Omega. My computer's being a little slow right now. So remember that cell that I was just talking about? Right here, we have a tornado warning. Woodward, Oklahoma. You should get into your safe place. Perryton, Oklahoma. We'll take a look at velocity, see how much rotation is within this cell. My radar doesn't want to seem to load. Let's see here. So right here, you can see that we have a low level trough that is going to be moving eastward. Looks like a cold front. I don't know why my radar isn't wanting to work. So, looking out the outlook, you could see that there's a 5% hash, like I said earlier, that will be in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Wichita, Kansas, Broken Arrow, Joplin, Missouri, and Eden, Oklahoma. The lower risk is Denver, Colorado, Washington, D.C., Oklahoma City, Kansas City, Missouri, and Colorado Springs, Colorado. Now, I think the threat will be more in northeastern parts of Oklahoma and possibly St. Louis. The counties surrounding that area tomorrow morning. Wind is going to be one of the greatest threats. So, Joplin, you are not out of the clear. You will be having a wind threat. You're at a 30% chance. There's going to be around 70, 80 mile per hour winds. That shows right there that there's going to be a bunch of wind shear and a spin up can occur. So please stay aware tonight. I'm going to try to exit out of this and see if I could go back in to look at radar. For some reason my radar doesn't want to work. Everything else wants to work but my radar. If all else fails, we'll go over the radar scope. Alright, here we go, right here. So that tornado warning has expired in northwestern Oklahoma. We'll take a look around Kansas right now. I'm looking at this cell right here. It is severe warned. And then we'll take a look at velocity. That's all hail right there. So yes, as you can see, there is a bit of rotation around Winfield heading towards Tisdale. Sooner or later, this storm should be tornado warned. We'll zoom out a little. Well, I didn't want that to happen. There we go. So here's the radar right here. Red is moving away from the radar. Green is moving towards the radar. You could see this curve right here. This is rotation. So once the red and green starts tightening up and gets next to each other, that means there's strong rotation, and that can confirm a radar confirmed tornado. And then you would take a look at the correlation coefficient and try to match that all up. And if you see like a little blue circle, that shows that the tornado is lofting debris up in the air, and that radar is able to pick that up. That's how us meteorologists and storm chasers can tell that there is a tornado on the ground. Another good indication of a tornado possibly forming is you would look at the reflectivity, and you would try to look for what is called a bow echo. So like right here, if this started a curve, that would show that there's strong rotation within that storm, and that's possibly a supercell storm, and that southwestern portion of that storm can drop a tornado on the ground. So here we go. There's some hail right here. The red is real heavy rain. So if a tornado did touch down, most likely it will be rain wrapped, and it will be impossible to see with the visible eye. We'll take a look at storm relative velocity and try to get a good indication of how fast these winds are. So right now, Winds aren't really that fast. Got around maybe 50 in some places. The darker the color, the higher the wind is. So yeah, 48.1, there we go. 52 just shot up. I want to take a look at this storm in Oklahoma real quick. Oh, Oklahoma and Texas, here we go. So about the same, 50-mile-per-hour winds. But this storm right here around Arkansas City, most likely a supercell storm. You got the hail core. You got strong wind shear. Starting to get a little bit more rotation around wind field. It's probably a wall cloud right there. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. So this cell is 125 miles away from Joplin. So let me check and see how fast. That's not what I want. .7 miles an hour. It is 7:09 right now. I would say these storms should hit around Joplin maybe around 12:30, 1 o'clock tomorrow morning. Soonest maybe 11 or 10. But I would say it would hit more likely when everybody's sleeping. So just be aware and have flashlights ready. If you got a backup generator, I would get that set up right now. I would bring all your furniture that could blow over inside. I would have a weather radio charged up. I would have your cell phones charged up, and just wait until the storm comes and be ready to take shelter if things do end up going sideways tonight. With that said, I'm Cody, and if you have any questions, concerns, comments, message me, comment, and I will see you guys later on.